completely homeless. So I wind up panhandling at gas stations. At this point, I'm sleeping in a tent on the side of the 5 freeway. Thank God I got arrested again, and this time for a very serious charge, and I was looking at some very serious prison time. And that's what led me to start my recovery. I was introduced to some people that were so inspirational and influential in my life that it became more of an attraction to me to emulate them than it was to go back with my boys and run the streets.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Journey to Solutions podcast, where we interview people from all walks of life who've overcome the impossible. We shine light on one simple truth: no matter your past, no matter your pain, with the power of God, anything is possible. And today we have a very special guest. When I talked to her, we were talking earlier today, and she told me a little bit about her. And this just shows that a person's testimony could be so impactful and so moving, because you literally could be living this way and think there's no way out. And then you can see this person's transformation, and their transformation is so unique and so different and so radical that their story, you wouldn't even believe they used to be like that. And see, and that's the power of God. That's the power of recovery. That's the power of transformation and self-development, is that you can completely change your life with one action a day. She's an entrepreneur. She's in recovery. She has 7 years in recovery. She's going to have a powerful story. I'm excited. I've never heard it, so I'm excited. But just be ready to have your life impacted. Be ready to go on a journey, and be ready to get some nuggets of wisdom to manifest your dream lives. So I want to introduce Melia King, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. What a beautiful introduction. And I might get a little emotional just talking about my story and where I came from and what my life is like now. It is absolutely incredible. So I'm really excited to be on this podcast with you.
Yeah, kind of run us through like your childhood, because we talked a little bit earlier, and again, you just told me some bullet points, and like you said, right, I look at you, and again, I can laugh because I'm like, because we're in recovery, so I'm like, oh man, that's so cool that you did that. I wouldn't have thought that, but I know it's possible to come from that. But most people that probably meet you and you were to tell them what you just told me, they'd probably be like, you're lying. There's no way you could have done that.
Yeah, people think I came from a very privileged background.
Calabasas, right?
Exactly. Single mom, 4 kids.
Are you the oldest, youngest,
No.
mid?
So my mom was single mom, 4 kids, and I'm number 3 of 4. So I have 2 older sisters and I have a little brother. And we're all really close in age. We're about 2 years apart. Okay. And so growing up, we were all pretty young. And when I was 6 years old, my dad relapsed. He was sober for about 10 years and active in the program. And at 10 years of sobriety, he picked up a drink, and my whole life as I knew it just kind of crumbled around us. So I remember being young and my dad's drinking, driving with me in the car and getting arrested and not coming home at night. And it started from very early age, just all the chaos, the inconsistencies, the lying. And I grew up really, really bitter, really bitter towards, I felt robbed. I felt like, I wanted to have a certain kind of family dynamic, and it just wasn't possible. So from an early age, I felt really uncomfortable and angry, really. And I tend to cover that up with maintaining a certain image on the outside. So from a very early age, my spirit was fractured. I was portraying one way while feeling and acting in another way, never fully whole, never fully authentic. And huge liar. I just would lie about everything.
Exaggerating, lying, yeah.
Yeah, and so growing up, it was single mom. I mean, she would cut box tops. She would take us shopping for clothes at garage sales and thrift stores, and we never bought anything new. It was like as cheap as you could possibly get it.
And how did you process all that as a kid? Like seeing, like you said, you're 6 years old, your dad, our parents are superheroes when we're kids. They can do no wrong. How did you process seeing your dad drinking? Did you know what drinking was? Did you know him being drunk or what was happening? And then also like the poverty that you're in, were you kind of like aware of like, are we poor?
Yeah. On the outside, it didn't look like we were, but it was always very well known inside that we there was never enough. There was always a deep insecurity that, like, we couldn't ask for what I felt like I couldn't ask and for what I wanted and what I needed as a kid, either materially or emotionally, because what the dynamic was so chaotic that there was no real safe space as a child to be a child. And so that impacted me developmentally in feeling unsafe in the world, even when it was safe for me to be there.
Right, because your household's not safe. You know, you think about, you grow up, you want to, as a parent's job is to food on the table. They don't have to know about any stressors that are happening. We're here to protect our kids, to enjoy life, go to school, be a kid. But not everybody's childhood's like that. Some of us grow up quickly, very unfortunately. Quickly. And like you said, I love that. It kind of robs us from our childhood in a sense, right? Because we got to, you know, grow up a little bit quick.
Yeah.
So you're going through that stuff, and what starts to happen after all that?
Yeah. Well, my mom, let me kind of go back a little bit. My mom, she is a superwoman. She always had food on the table for us. She was a great provider, but I will say emotionally, there was an absence there because she was going through so much trauma on her own. The betrayal of my dad, you know, leaving for a younger woman, the alcoholism, just the absolute torture and destruction that she was experiencing in her own life. You know, now she's a single mom with 4 kids under the age of 10, and it's a lot to handle.
Yeah, she probably didn't have the time to feel things. She's like, I need to figure out to get money to pay bills and take care of my family. So yeah, there's so much.
Yeah, taskmaster.
Yeah,
she was a taskmaster. She would provide. She'd cook us breakfast. It was tasks.
Yeah,
but the undertone of emotional stability wasn't there. So, I mean, I was always looking for something to fill that hole. I felt like there was a big hole within my spirit, and I was just looking for something to make me feel better. So first it was food, and then I started drinking a lot with my dad. Actually, he's active alcoholic, and he got custody of us as well, 50%. So spending more time at my dad's house, I started drinking with him, and all the resentments I had towards him were washed away when I would pick up a drink with him.
How old are you at that point?
11.
So 11 years old, your first drink.
12.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere around there. 11, 12, I started drinking with my dad. And I had older siblings, so they were allowed to drink. So I just kind of, you know, picked up after them. It was Mike's Hard Lemonade and Smirnoff Ice. Like pretty, innocent, I guess. But it was still drinking at a very young age. Yeah. And so then I'm in middle school. I'm 13 years old. People are having bar and bat mitzvahs. Alcohol is more prevalent. So now I start stealing and cheating and lying to get more alcohol. And then from a pretty young age, it escalated quickly. At 14 years old, I dropped out of high school, and I worked 4 jobs because I had to provide for myself. So I worked at a deli. I had 2 full-time positions babysitting kids that have special needs. And then on Sundays, I worked at a food truck with an old creepy guy that would give me beer. So I worked 4 jobs all the time, and I did school kind of on the side.
Were you doing like independent studies, kind of home?
Exactly. Exactly. So independent study, I would meet with my teacher once a week, and so I could work my butt off, make good money, and then kind of do high school on the side. So I did that for a while. So I've always been hyper independent, self-sufficient,
hustling, taking care of yourself, self-motivated.
Exactly. Exactly. And I saw my mom struggle so much, and I didn't want a life like that. I didn't want to rely on a man to provide me any kind of lifestyle. I was going to make it myself. So the hustle mentality started from a very young age. And then I just got sicker and sicker with my addiction. And then when I'm 20, 21 years old, I wind up doing harder drugs and wind up homeless.
Yeah, how'd you get introduced to that? Was it just the people you started hanging around? Like, was the drinking not enough?
Ooh. So when I was 18, there was a lot that happened in my family. And it's way too much to go into, but my dad basically sold everything out from underneath us. And so at that point, I was 18 years old. I was, party girl, drinking, party drugs.
Were you going to raves at all?
Yeah. So, uppers, feel good, all that stuff.
Yeah, the party stuff. Have fun.
Hallucinogenics.
Party for 3 days and have fun. Music and life of the party.
Exactly. Yeah. A little bit of a lot of cocaine. A little bit. I don't even know what a little bit of cocaine is, but you know, a lot of cocaine just to keep moving
Yeah,
fast,
it's a
because I
party
have
thing.
this fast
Yeah.
lifestyle and I got to keep up with it. So at that point, that's who I was. And then when I'm 18 years old, my dad sells everything out from underneath us and we're fighting him, and I have to lawyer up. My sister lawyers up, my mom lawyers up, my aunt lawyers up, my brother. Like, there were 9 attorneys, 2 guardian ad litems, and everybody was fighting each other. And at that point, I didn't have the emotional capacity to deal with the pain, the hurt, the
So when you say he was selling everything under you, like, what do you mean, like the home or?
yeah.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah. So we lived in the house with my mom. All 4 of us did. And my dad sold it out from underneath us. He still had interest in the house, and just the way that it was put into a trust, it's like we all kind of had a small portion of interest, so we had to all lawyer up and we tried to fight. And then you know, it just turned nasty. My dad's attorneys were saying nasty things about me. And my dad wasn't defending me, and I remember going to him and just like brokenhearted. I don't understand, like, how can you put us out on the street?
Yeah,
like,
be okay with
we
that.
don't have anywhere to go. Like, what do you expect us to do? And I was like, it's not about the money. Like, you can have your fucking money, but it's about you being a dad. And he was like, no, it's about the money. I'm like, cool, bro. So at that point, it was just so much pain that I turned to opiates. I wanted to feel nothing. And so I sought out somebody that I knew that was doing heroin, and I was like, I don't want to feel. I just want to feel nothing. So that was the start of it.
So that's, that pain, another painful moment of betrayal, heartbreak, like you said, right? Just something that you experienced that was so hard emotion to deal with. And that's like, and the response too that your dad had to, even more so, you look for that escape.
Yeah. I mean, when a parent or a loved one starts to sabotage you, like, it's painful. So, I mean, his attorneys were calling my school because I was applying for a semester abroad, saying, you know, not to let me in the school, that I'm a bomb threat. Like, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. And then having to obviously repeal that and say I'm not dangerous, but just, it was painful. It was really, really, really painful. And so at that point, I didn't know what else to do but turn to drugs.
And at this point, how old are you? You said 18?
18.
So 18, this happens. Now you're starting drugs. And what does your life start to look like when you start experimenting with that?
I turned into a very, very, very different human being. I had morals and values. I had a pretty good, compass. And at this point, I start running with gangs. I'm not working at this point. I had graduated from high school. I'm not going to college. I've completely dropped out. I move into a dangerous part of the valley, and I'm running with dangerous people. And it was just a daily hustle, trying to get enough money or get by to get another fix to stay high and stay loaded. And it was like that for years, just this constant battle of torture. And it was self-induced, and at the same time, I didn't want to get out of that. It's weird to say. I was so shut down in so many ways that I didn't even want to get help. And it was an extremely abusive relationship. And my desire to get loaded and stay loaded was way stronger than my desire to get help and improve my life. And so, I mean, I was completely helpless and hopeless with no desire to live or change. And that's a scary place to be.
Yeah, it's scary when the addiction is so powerful that we'll suffer in any type of pain as long as I can get high. And the type of pain that comes with that, right? That's why there's more trauma gets born in those experiences for us, right? Abusive people we're with, things that we see, things that happen to us, just all that, right? And it just ruins our self-respect, our self-esteem, our self-worth, and it's scary to know that that's how powerful addiction is. Yeah.
And then I put myself in positions to be hurt and abused, and then that just compounds the trauma, and then I have to pour more on it.
You got to cover up this more now. Let's do more drugs, more of this, and more of that.
Exactly.
And so for you, how bad, what would you say were like well, like how bad did it start getting? Like, what were some of the consequences that were happening? Because again, that's young. You're 18. You're stepping into this world. You said this for years happening, right? You're with these dangerous people and dangerous neighbors doing dangerous things. Like, how bad does it start getting?
Yeah. So from 18 to 24, it was just bad. So I'm running with gangs. I'm starting to commit crimes to stay high. We're breaking into people's like cars and storage units, and I start getting arrested. My mom, bless my mom, she tried saving me so many times. She would send me to rehab or send me to treatment or, really try and help get me off the streets. But as soon as I was done with that program or I'd relapse in the program, I was off and running. There was no real desire to change. So at a certain point, my mom cut me off and she's like, honey, like I can't bear to watch you kill yourself anymore. And she's like, and I just can't feel like I'm enabling you by sending you money or by trying to rescue you. So once my mom cut me off, it got bad. So then I'm getting picked up and I'm spending time in Linwood and yeah, not a friendly place. And I was fighting a couple charges and off to treatment again. And so the worst or the kind of the end of my addiction, I'm completely homeless. Like, completely homeless. I don't have a dime to my name. My mom won't give me any money. And so I wind up panhandling at gas stations. And just the shame and disgust I would see in people's face as they hand me a few bucks. And it's just like, break my heart a little bit more.
And how old are you at that point when you're panhandling?
About 20, 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. So you're panhandling just to get a fix.
Yeah.
You're homeless now.
Yeah.
And then what starts happening from there?
Well, at this point, I'm sleeping in a tent on the side of the 5 freeway. So right off Sun Valley, there was some commercial buildings, and behind the commercial buildings, there was a strip of a walkway. And so that's where I lived, in a tent. And, thank God I got arrested again, and this time for a very serious charge, and I was looking at some very serious prison time. And I remember sitting in that courtroom, and I didn't want to agree to all of the terms that they laid out for me. And so I was really considering just doing the prison time. And my attorney was like, are you crazy? Like, they're giving you an option for treatment. like,
and you want to do the prison time and not go get help?
Like, are you crazy? Like, I literally was crazy, and I was considering it. I didn't want to agree to the 3-year restraining order put on me and my co-defendant, who was my boyfriend at the time. And I was like, I don't want to agree to a restraining order. And my boyfriend was like, yeah, we don't have to abide by it, but like agree to it. Like, take the treatment. So obviously, if that relationship did not end up working out, but thank God I did take the treatment. And that's what led me to start my recovery. And again, with no desire to change or get sober, I was put into an environment where I was kind of stuck there. And I was introduced to some people that were so inspirational and influential in my life that it became more of an attraction to me to emulate them than it was to go back with my boys and run the streets.
What was it, if you can remember, what was it that these people were saying? What is it that they made you feel with their words that had so much impact on you?
It wasn't even so much of what they said. It was their spirit. There was something in their eyes. They had long-term sobriety. They were happy. They were free. They were truly free. And then, obviously, I was noticing the material things too, driving nice cars, wearing nice watches. And they were good people, genuine people. And I had been running with gangs who they wanted me dead because, screw over one person, they want to take your head. So, and I was not used to the kindness and the sense of community and belonging and love is really what it was. I wasn't accustomed to that. So to be in an environment that it was in abundance and it was genuine, it wasn't so much of what they were saying, but it was who they are. And that became an attraction for me. So I just started hanging around them more and, fighting this case and doing things that I didn't want to do, starting to take some contrary actions. And then little by little, I started to change. And about 6 months into to this program, I had a relapse, actually, is what happened. And with that relapse, that's when I made the decision I don't want to drink or use again, because I was so uncomfortable. I was so shame-filled, and I hated the feeling. I didn't want to be separated from. And so that's really when it shifted for me of I don't want to drink or use anymore. And also, I'm willing to do something different. I'm willing to go through the hard stuff or the unknown, whatever that might be. So that was really my starting point in my journey. And then I just became a sponge for everything positive, influential. How can I impact others? How can I use my traumatic stories or things that I went through to help inspire other people to go through something similar, to push through the hard stuff? And then now being in sales, it's like every day is doing something really hard, overcoming adversity, objection,
rejection,
not taking it personally,
personal,
all of those things, right? But my spirit had to become developed, and it all started from just taking different actions and making that decision of I want to be different.
And what year was that when after that relapse, then you said now I'm done? What year was that?
That was 2018.
So that's just 2008, and that starts the beginning of your sobriety journey that you have till now, right?
Correct.
Okay. So you have that relapse, right? And sometimes a part of our stories, right? But like you said, it didn't feel the same. You felt the shame. You started to notice things, which is good, right? That shows that 6 months that you did some work. That's why there's something different about you.
Yeah.
So you didn't enjoy it like you used to. And I love that you said, I think people in addiction, you got to find something worth living for.
Absolutely.
Because if not, I'm going to go back here. So if I can't find something worth living for over here, it's hard to fight the days that are hard, that are mundane, where things don't go my way, when my mind's playing tricks on me, when my anxiety arises, my depression, my heartbreak, whatever it is, right? Because our emotions, right? We have no emotional sobriety or control. That if you don't have something to look forward to, what's the point? So I love that. You get inspired by these people. You do the work. You have a slip, but you feel shame for it. I don't want this. So then you make a commitment. And I love that. What do you think it was for you that I always say what motivates us in somebody is a reflection of what we have within us. For you, why do you think this idea of like, man, I just want to help people, want to impact, want to share my story, like purpose, like why do you think for you have such a passion for that perspective of life to use your story to help others?
It's morphed over the years. So in the beginning, for me, it was very materialistic. Like, don't get me wrong. I wanted the shiny things. And I actually set a 1-year goal. If I could stay sober for 1 year, I'll get my motorcycle's license.
Oh, nice.
Because, I still have this adrenaline junkie sense of...
Yeah, you have to.
I mean...
Based on your lifestyle, I'm like, you like adrenaline.
Yeah, I loved living on the dangerous side.
Yeah.
The closer I am to death, the more I feel alive. And so I set a 1-year goal. If I can stay sober for 1 year, I'll get my motorcycle license. And so that was the thing I was really working towards in the beginning. It wasn't to help people and inspire people at all. It was, I want a motorcycle because I want to still live dangerous. So I turned 1, I got my motorcycle. I still ride today.
Nice.
My motorcycle's pink. I love it. It's such a reflection of me. And, it's a Gixxer 600. It's a sports bike. And it's that wild side that I still get to embody. But now instead of, doing dangerous things with gangs, I'm now, a little dangerous on a motorcycle.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I think a lot of us that have that adrenaline need,
yeah,
you're right, find it somewhere. That's why people skydive, sports.
Yeah, my other thing is scuba diving with sharks.
Oh, wow.
So I love, swimming with sharks, diving with sharks. That's another wild, like, adrenaline thing that I love to do. So in the beginning, it did not start off as I wanted to help people at all. It was very, very selfish. I wanted the nice things. I wanted the nice car. I wanted the nice place to live, all of that first. But it was interesting. Once I started to develop a sense of stability and security and acquire these things, it was through a lot of hard work. And once I started to, move into the place on the water or get the nice car that I wanted, it started to then become less important. It wasn't about getting to the thing, kind of like what we were talking about previously. It wasn't about buying my dream car. It was how much work I had to do to be able to be the person that can afford my dream car, or to live on the water. It wasn't about so much of the thing as it was the journey that it took to get there. So that's where the inspirational, I want to help women be empowered and go after their dreams and not be stuck in an abusive relationship full of self-doubt and fear and self-pity like I used to be in, because now my life is absolutely incredible. The freedom that I got to see in other people's eyes when I was new and walking into these, these rooms kind of afraid, am I really gonna be doing this? Like, do I want this? To now on the other side of it, where I've experienced so much freedom and so much happiness and so much joy that I wish I could give that away. I wish I could give it to people. And the truth is I can't give it, but what I can do is I can help guide people through their transformation. And so that is the center point, the focal point of my life. Besides running a big business, I also spend a lot of time mentoring girls and helping them through their journey. And so the youngest girl that I'm working with currently, she's 16 years old. And to see...
What does she want to do?
She wants to model in Japan.
Nice.
And so we're writing out her dream life. And I'm like, girl, let's do it. Let's do it. Whatever you want to do, let's do it. And I get to be that person in her life that can push her, that can inspire her, that can motivate her through the hard times, because it's not easy. It's not easy at all.
Yeah, it's not. I think a lot of people don't realize that, right? It's some of us have very extraordinary goals.
Yes.
And the bigger the goal, the bigger the battle.
Yeah.
It's not that it's impossible. It's that it's going to, like you said, it's going to be a hard journey of ups and downs. It's not going to look the way you want it to look. It's about boundaries and saying no and cutting people off and staying focused long term and, sleepless nights. And it's a lot of work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so the desire has to be bigger.
And I love that you said the honesty, right? In the beginning, my recovery was really focused on materialistic.
Yeah.
I believe God will use whatever it takes for us individually to get our life right. And we'll learn the lesson down the road whenever we're ready.
Whether it's a relationship or whatever.
Whatever it is.
Whatever gets you here.
That's why I tell people with co-ed meetings, I go, hey, who cares about co-ed meetings? Why? Sometimes, for example, I go to a meeting when I was single in the beginning. I'd go to a meeting because I saw a cute girl in recovery. I'm like, I gotta go to a meeting today. But I still hear the message. But it took that defect of mine to get me into the meeting. So whatever it takes. And then after time, I learned, okay, I shouldn't always need to be motivated by that. My friend, there's a story with this guy. It was an AA convention. This guy comes in, sees his friend, and he tells his friend, my mom's here. Ugh, I have a resentment towards her. I know she's in recovery, but I don't want to talk to her. His friend has a defect of lust. So as he's telling his friend this information, his friend goes, oh, hold on, I got to go. I see this girl leaves. He gets mad, but then goes, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to talk to my mom then. That was no help. Talks to his mom, and they make it right, and they're good. God used this guy's defect of lust to take him away from the situation, which forced him to go make it right.
It's so true.
So God will use things, right, to get us to where we need to get.
It's true.
And then, like you said, and then you learn the lesson down the road of like, okay, this is what it's not about. Now I know that.
Yeah. And as long as that thing doesn't, become God, right? As long as I don't make that relationship my higher power or my God, right? Then I still have a chance.
How would you separate that? If somebody said, okay, how do I know if I'm not making this my God versus I'm just going after my dreams?
That's a hard line to determine.
Yeah.
What I find is like my recovery has to come first. And so how am I living by principles? Once I start acting out in ways that are self-righteous or self-entitled or unkind to others just to get what I want, then I know that I'm manipulating the situation in ways where I'm trying to play God. And if I'm chasing after money, if that's my God, or if I'm chasing after a relationship and that's my God, like I start to behave in ways that are not true to who I really am inside. And so that's how I start to see, am I centered? Am I actually following in the flow of what God wants for me? Or am I chasing after something because I want it? And so coming back down to the principles I live by is the most important thing. Am I being honest? Am I doing what I say I'm going to do? Am I showing up on time? Am I being kind to others? Am I being of service? Right? How am I contributing to other people's lives rather than what can I get out of it? That becomes my center point.
Okay. No, I love that. For you too, I think another thing in AA, maybe you have some wisdom in this in recovery, whatever recovery people are in, even church, is in my personal life, I've noticed, my sponsor told me one time, some people in recovery are exceptional. I go, what does that mean? Some people are just meant to do more than just go to recovery meetings and help people. That's the reality. Some people, right, are in meetings every day and they have 1,000 sponsees. I know people, awesome, and they're amazing people. But some of us, I'm like, I don't want 1,000 sponsees. I want to have a life. I want to travel the world. I want to start a business. I want to go after. I want to make impact. I want to do all these things. So if I want to do all these things, does that mean I'm being selfish because I'm not at a meeting every day? I'm not having sponsees every time. So for me, I had a battle of trying to figure out that balance of, is this me being selfish because I go to less meetings and sponsor less people? Or that's just God's like, no, like you got right. You know what to do when you need help. You're still a good person wherever you go. You work this program wherever you go. Just because you're not in a meeting, it's okay. And you pray every day. Go after your dreams. Did you ever have a battle with that with people around you saying like, you maybe should go to more meetings, or you're doing all this cool stuff, but don't forget about your recovery? And did you ever get any pushback from people?
That was really hard. When I started to grow at a certain pace and at a certain point outgrow the people within my community. And that was really hard. And someone that was really influential in my life at that time was doing exactly what you were saying. You're putting money, you're putting work before your recovery. You're going to relapse.
You're going to relapse.
You're being selfish. But it was important for me. So when I had 5 years of sobriety, I had gotten to a point where I was dissatisfied with the life I had built. It was very stable, monotonous. Like I was working in property management at the time, and it was not fulfilling. I wasn't making enough money, and I knew I could do and be more. I wanted to.
5 years, you're having this epiphany.
Yeah, so I wanted to grow. So the life that I had built within that 5-year period, I absolutely destroyed everything. I quit that property management job. I, ended things with my sponsor at the time, and then I ended the kind of relationship thing that,
as they call it now.
Situationship, yeah. So I ended that situationship, and so everything that I had built as a framework, relationship, work, recovery, I exploded everything. And I quit my job and I jumped into commission-only solar sales, into construction, no construction background, no sales background. But I was I want to do something different.
And did you have an idea kind of like what you wanted to do?
It was totally delusional.
I want to hear it. I like it. I believe we need delusional faith. I do. You know what I mean? Delusional faith with factual actions.
I worked my butt off, but I was delusional. I was like, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to run my own company. I'm going to be successful. And it was like month after month after month, and I'm eating into my savings account, and I'm just like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. If I knock enough doors, if I call enough people, if I do enough footwork, I'm going to be successful. I don't know if it's going to be 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, but I'm not willing to give up, because the alternative is what? What
you already had, and you didn't like it.
Or living like my mom.
Oh, yeah. Like you said, yeah.
Scared to take risks. Not going after anything. Like that is my biggest fear. To not even try? So let me try and fail and try and fail and try and fail and try and fail, because I'm not willing to go back to that. So yeah, delusional. I was like, I'm going to make $1 million. I don't know when or how long it's going to take me, but I'm determined. And so then just like in early sobriety, I became a sponge. Taking coaching classes, leadership classes, sales books, trainings, workshops, seminars, in the action, cold calling, door knocking, literally everything, every single day.
Who are some like people that you were following during that time? You know, like for me, I like Lewis Howes, Jay Shetty, Gabby Bernstein, Tony Robbins, Ed Milet, Tom Bilyeu. You know, I had my people that I would like to like take a little of this, take a little of that, Jim Rohn, you know, all that stuff. Who are some people like for you that you were listening to get motivated on that journey?
Yeah, Andy Elliott was a big one.
Okay, yeah.
Jeremy Minor.
Yep.
Leila Hormozi.
Cool.
And honestly, I found the most incredible like group of guys who have the same kind of hustle mentality and grind, and they've been doing it a lot longer. So they actually were getting results from their work. And so what happened is they saw me, you know, busting my butt. And they're like, come here. Like, we like the way you do business. You sell with integrity. You have good principles and morals. Like, you bring a lot of value. Like, we want you as part of our company. And so they made me part of their company, and they've totally brought me under their wing and, you know, mentored me and coached me in construction. So now I'm not just sales. I understand construction. And so I can talk to the engineering. I can talk to the plans and the codes and everything. It's been really cool, not just on residential, but also commercial. So I start now getting results because I have these guys backing me up, and the mentorship was just top notch. I mean, these guys are great. So now the four of us run the company, and we have a lot of fun, and we do really, really good work.
That's awesome. No, I love that. Yeah, what I hear is like, right, we need people.
Yes.
We need people around us that are doing what we want and having results.
Yes.
Because they have the blueprint.
Yes.
It's not like a secret, right? People think there's like some secrets. Like, no, just find somebody who has what you want and just listen to them. And they'll give you the blueprint. And if you hang out with them long enough and you take everything in and you take action, you will get those results.
Yeah. It's once I changed my environment and changed the people, my life started to change.
And how long did it take, would you say, till you started to see practical evidence that it's working? Whether it was your finances going up to a point of like, whoa, this is working. Like, when did you start to notice it happen? Because some people think, I tell people, like, sometimes it takes longer than you think, but just don't give up. These overnight successes usually are not overnight. When you read like the autobiography about the person, you start to see like, oh, they've been doing this for 20 years. No one knew them. Or yeah, there might be some overnight things that happen, like someone's video goes viral for whatever. But those are like once in a lifetime stories, or they win the lottery or something crazy happens. For you, once that 5 years and you quit everything, you're like, I'm going to do something different. When were you able to start to see an actual reality, like this is working?
Honestly, in my second year.
Yeah. That's cool.
Which was this year.
So this year, oh wow, yes.
Which was this year. Yeah, my first year, I struggled so hard. Got myself into a ton of debt because I was not willing to go to work for someone else, take a 9-to-5 job and be told how much I'm worth on an hourly basis. No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, I'm worth more than that. And so the first year I got into quite a bit of debt, but I wasn't willing to give up on my dreams. I was like, people take out a loan for $100,000 or more to start a business, and they don't start to make money back until their 5th year.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the mentality I had, is I'm not really planning on making my money back until year 5. So I just put in everything that I had with no holding back. And there were nights where I cried and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to pay rent. And I called my mom, and she had to pay my rent for me a couple months. And I was like, I'm not willing to give up. It's not going to be easy, but I know it's going to be worth it.
What did you do to help you in that season? Because, you know, I love that you're being so honest about it, right? Like, dude, the first year I was struggling. Couldn't pay my rent, money. I got in debt because I didn't want to go. Like, what? So one, you got to not relapse in that, for one, right?
Yeah.
That's one battle. Okay, I can't relapse in this. Okay, that's one thing I can't do. But also, it doesn't have to be a relapse. It can just be a lot of other stuff that we can blow up, self-sabotage, or like you said, fold. All right, never mind, I was wrong.
Yes.
Like, what were some practical things you had to do in that first year just to like get through that hard day, get through that hard moment, get through that hard week, get through that hard month, or whatever? Like, what did you have to do for yourself? Like, for me, it's like working out and positive stuff, praying. Like, I have to be around people. I have to hear stories of like, Fausto, don't give up, you're this close. Like, really? I have to hear that. Like, okay, thank you. I needed to hear that today. Like, what were you doing to keep yourself like just going?
So a book that changed my life was The Miracle Morning.
Oh, that's the one with the guy with the car accident, right?
Yes.
Dude, that book is
Hal Elrod.
Yeah, Hal Elrod. I love that book.
Yeah. So that book changed my life.
Yeah.
And so having a consistent routine that was unshakable. I'd wake up at 5 a.m. I'd go to the gym. I would do my writing, my prayer, my affirmations, my visuals, like everything. I was extremely disciplined in that. And so even though I'm dying and I can't pay my rent, I'm taking these actions of like, I am going to make $1 million. I am going to be a successful business owner. I am worthy of success. And so I have these affirmations in my bathroom, and every single morning I would say them whether I believe them or not. And so that's really what I've always been self-motivated. I mean, going back to high school, working 4 jobs.
14 years old. Like, you're
crazy.
A hustler, yeah.
So I've always been self-motivated, but it's the true belief in myself, and really that support came a lot with my team. Like the guys that I work with, they contributed so much to just keep going, just keep taking action. And then an old business partner of mine, like he would literally be on the phone with me while I'm crying, and it's just like, don't give up. It's okay. Like we'll push through. We'll get a deal. Like, so it was both self-motivating because I wasn't willing to give up on my dreams. I wasn't willing to live a life like my mom, or my dad. Neither one of them actually built anything.
Right.
And so that was never an option for me. Drinking was never an option for me. I never even thought about it. It was just dive myself deeper into personal development. So those are the things that just kept me moving forward.
I love that. Yeah, such a good book. I read that book in the beginning of my recovery. So I remember,
it changed my
the whole
life.
morning routine thing he talked about. Just after the accident, what he did, I was like, what? You can do that? You know what I mean? Just again, it blows my mind seeing stuff. I'm like, what? Let's try it. Yeah. And it's funny because you hear it all the time from people. We talk about morning routines, visualization, act as if you already have it, have people around you. But that's the truth. It works. That's why you're hearing it everywhere. Someone may call it something else different. They may package it a little bit more colorful, but it really is those small things that you do every day. Yes. What do you feel like you learned that like you would tell somebody? So you said like in 2 years you started seeing results. Why do you think for you it took 2 years? Like what was it that you had to learn or become, or what was it that had to transform in you? Because for example, like for me, it's like when I became super successful, I started to like look at my life like, okay, why did it happen barely now? Why didn't it happen all these other times? And my observation is, oh, well, I didn't have the skill in my first year. I didn't have this skill until my third year. And I didn't get this skill till my fifth year. And I needed to go backpacking in Asia, live in Asia for 6 months to get this skill. And now when I'm here, all those skills together is why I'm crushing it. Yeah. Oh, so I needed those things in order to become this person that can create this, sustain this responsibly, and grow it. Like, what do you feel like in those 2 years that whatever was happening, what was molding you, what was transforming within you that when you're like, now it's working?
So, I mean, it was a lot to go from customer service to construction sales.
It's a big difference, right?
It's a big difference. Yeah. So I had to learn sales, first of all, and then I had to also learn construction, which is pretty complex. We're talking about AHJs and jurisdictions and codes and all this stuff. So I had to learn those two things, and also being a woman in a male-dominated industry.
About that. What is that like? Yeah, what is that like?
I walk in and people don't believe me. They're like, yeah, what do you know about electrical? What do you know about battery storage? What do you know about HVAC or EV chargers? I mean, I have to be extra competent in what I'm talking about so people don't take me as a joke. Because walking in as a female, they think, oh, well, you're just some girl. You don't know what you're talking about. Right. But that's why even more I put myself into the rooms with the manufacturers, and I was taking vigorous notes. I wanted to be the smartest person. I wanted to understand everything. So I can be competent and walk in the room and be like, no, I know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's exactly why you should go with me. So to go back to your question as what kind of transformed, well, it's interesting too, because I also jumped into an industry where there was a lot of stuff happening politically that affected our industry as a whole. So I actually came in at a time where everyone was leaving. There was things happening within the utility from net metering changes, and then there was inflation, and there was interest rates that were through the roof. So people were not, they didn't want to sign a loan at a high interest rate. So there was a lot of challenges, and then new battery technology that comes into place where you never needed batteries before. So I come into an industry that's going through all of these changes. So as it once was no longer prevalent. So everyone in that industry was having to learn something new and adapt and change. And we saw tons and tons of companies go out of business and close their doors and file for bankruptcy, and big ones too. So over the last 3 years, there's just been a massive shift in the industry as a whole. So even though I was experiencing challenges, it wasn't just me and being new. It was actually the whole industry was experiencing challenges. So the other part is like I never gave up. Everyone's leaving and doing other things, and I'm like doubling down. If I see the vision, I see the future, I see the value, and I'm just not gonna be shaken.
I love that. How do you like, and I love how you can be honest too with, because I feel like there's certain truths in the world. Again, it's not 100% going to be everybody, but there's a high percentage of these truths. Like there's stereotypes, people say things. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's not everybody, but I know why you're saying that. Or like you said, like it's a man-dominated, industry. Like the fact is that it is. The fact that as women will be treated differently in specific jobs, right? My wife's a biomedical engineer. She oversees people that are in their 40s and 50s. She's in her 30s, and they're all men, and they're all looking at her like, "You're our boss." You know what I mean? But like you, she's like, "All right, well, I'm bust out the data to why I'm in this position. I actually know more than all of you, and I'm going to show you on paper so you can't say anything. And look how much money I saved the company. Here's a CEO. I just saved you billions of dollars this year versus your person last time." Oh, yeah. So this is what I want. So like for you, like what kind of like advice do you have for women that are getting into these male-dominated industries? What is like the healthy way to go about it? And what are some actual things that they can do to get through it instead of complain about it, or maybe think like, well, I'm just not going to change. They have to change. I think sometimes people's approaches towards things are not realistic. It's like, yeah, it should be that, but that's just not what's going to happen. What type of advice would you give women that are going to get into like a male-dominated industry?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Have a good coach. I mean, I invested a lot of money into coaching, into sales coaching. And so my sales coach is Shelby Sapp, who is, she was in door to door, and now she runs the biggest women's sales academy. And so investing in coaching was number one for me, and learning how to communicate in a way that I'm not going to be pushed over, I'm taken seriously, I can communicate effectively and clearly. And it all comes down to tonality, body language. I mean, everything is how you communicate. So for a woman getting into a male-dominated industry, it is actually, we have more of an advantage because people actually feel safer with women. And so if a woman can actually utilize her sense of empathy to really relate and understand the needs of the person, because sales is just helping people solve their problem. Once I identify the problem, then, okay, we can actually create a plan to solve your problem. So women tend to have more empathy than men, and we actually have a more competitive advantage, or we actually do a lot better if we can tap into that part. So it's not I don't try and be like a man and sell like a man. It's very different. I'm very in my feminine, even in a male-dominated industry, and I think that's where I've had more of an advantage.
I love that. I love the perspective that you have on that. It's good too, right? 'Cause it changes everything, how to look at it, which I love. I think how we look at something will dictate how we feel about it.
Absolutely.
And what follows that.
Absolutely.
And we have the ability, as we learn in mindset, right? Either you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. It's our choice to decide, how do you want to look at it, right? Is it true? It's true to me, right? It's true to you. That's all that matters. Who cares what they say or they say? Everyone's going to have an opinion. Not everyone's going to like you. It is what it is. Rejection is just redirection to something different. What have you learned? So in sales too, I think I love this too, is because the reality is if you're selling a service or a thing, there's going to be other people selling that same thing. What have you learned? Like, because someone might say, well, I don't want to get into that business. I don't want to start that business. Why there's so many of them? How am I supposed to compete? Well, but as you know, right? It's like, yeah, but that shouldn't stop you from doing it. What separates a person to go, I'm going to go with you versus you. You have the same product, the same thing. Maybe it's even the same price. Why am I going to go with you? What have you learned?
The difference is me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was already McDonald's. Why would Chick-fil-A start another fast food restaurant, right? It's different culture. So the difference is really me. Mm-hmm. The value that I bring into the conversation is really all the principles that I've developed in my recovery. That is our company culture. That is how we, work, breathe, live by. It's honesty, it's transparency, it's doing good quality work, it's being of service to the client. So it's the culture that we have. And so the difference is really me and our company. So just going through our reviews or sharing reference letters and things like that, where people have said, I was going between this company, that company, and they, Melia's company was actually more expensive, but we decided to go with him anyways. Mm-hmm. And here is what our experience was. So having those testimonial videos, the reference letters, the reviews on Google, it provides a lot of value, and it really just concretes the true service that we provide is not just replacing your HVAC or reducing your electric bill with solar and battery storage. It is you get to work with us as your contractor, and we handle everything within house, and we provide this great experience as best as we can in construction. Good communication, showing up on time, leaving it better than when we found it, and providing a full comprehensive service so that person has a good experience and then wants to refer us to others. So we don't pay for advertisements or buy leads. We have a very organic business. And so we get a lot of our business through referrals and word of mouth.
I love that. Yeah, I think the best marketing tactic, the best ad you can put out is a referral from somebody. Because I trust John. If John says Melia is great, I trust Melia. Why? Because I trust John.
Yeah.
Boom. You don't got to do anything. I trust him, and then you are who you are. And then it's just, there you go.
Yeah.
And then it spreads and the word gets around. And you're so right. It's like, just be good to people. Be honest. Be real. Be authentic. Just treat people the way you want to be treated. Care about them, and they'll care about you. And trust the process. Be patient. I think so many people try to force something. They act out of desperation, or they don't make it about the people. And they may make money, but it's not about making a lot of money. It's about the longevity of that.
Right.
Because all of us can build something for a year and then blow it up. I'd rather build something that takes me 3 years to get to where you got in 1 year, but at least I keep it and you lost it.
Exactly.
So I love that, right? Yeah, they buy into the person before they buy into the product or the service. It's so true.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, no, I love that. And, and you talk about we're talking earlier too about God. You were saying you grew up in a very atheist home?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
That's what it was, right?
Oh, yeah. My dad was atheist, and then my mom was very anti-religious.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up, there was no God. There was no God. Mm-hmm. And I remember at one point when I was in middle school, I went to a Bible study at this girl, Hannah's house, and my dad picked me up from the Bible study, and I just felt so small for wanting to believe in something bigger than myself and believe in God. And I would watch documentaries with my dad about how God doesn't exist and how people who believe are weak and just all this stuff. So growing up in a very anti-religious atheist home, I hated the word God. And when I first got sober, it was a big...
Ready, guys?
It was a big topic of conversation. But the acronym started to work for me. So when I broke it down as, a good, orderly direction.
Yeah, that's good for people who are locked up.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Or great outdoors.
Oh, I haven't heard that one. I'm going to take that one.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Nature stuff and all that.
Yeah. The ocean, the stars, the mountains.
Gift of desperation.
Ooh, I haven't heard that one.
Gift of direction.
Grow or die.
Group of drunks.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
Yeah.
So these acronyms started to resonate more for this association of something that's bigger than me, that's not me. And that's how I started my journey, because my mind would just shut. If I heard the word God, it was like, nope, nope. And so these little acronyms I started to identify with. And then actually just this last year, I mean, I've gotten to travel all over the world. I've gotten to meditate with a Zen Buddhist priest in parts of Asia, in Japan. Cool. I got to experience Islam. I got to experience Hinduism in parts of like India. Yeah. So I've gotten now to experience all kinds of religions and see that there is really just God in the world. And now this last year, I'm more focused on, what are the teachings of Jesus? There's still a part of me in my mind, like, I don't really think he ever existed, but there's teachings in a book. And if a book can teach me something where I can be better, I want to read that book, right? How can I just be a better person has been my basis of life. So this last year, I'm really focusing on, okay, how can I be more like that and be more loving towards others, but also strong and not soft, and gentle, but not.
It's still stern though.
Yeah. So really just developing my sense of God has been a new experience for me. And so now this last year, it's been something I've been really passionate about and actively seeking and learning and growing in that area, just like when I was new in those other areas, recovery, sales.
Right.
Once I start something, I become obsessed.
Yeah. All right. The next thing, let's go. I'm going to learn everything.
I become obsessed. I don't know if it's just like, how my brain is wired. Yeah. But it's on or off.
Yeah.
There's no medium.
Do you think have you ever been diagnosed like ADD?
No. I probably am, because I jump from one thing to the next, but it's like on or off. Yeah. And it's a blessing because I'm able to dive in 100% and become obsessed with something. And
what a cool thing to be obsessed with, huh?
It is a cool thing to be obsessed with God and how I can be better and learn from
I love people
teachings.
more. How can I give more, right? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And all of that just circles back to, again, the girls that I get to work with. All of it really is building relationships with people, clients, girls that I sponsor, people in my life, my boyfriend, building these relationships. All of it circles back.
I love that. Yeah. How important do you feel like faith is for people that want to like build, have that dream, whatever it is, right? These women and men want to go after their dreams. How important do you find that faith is as a component to that journey from your experience?
Well, my faith has to be bigger than my fear. I have to be willing to believe in something so much that I'm willing to walk through the fear and the hardship. So faith is very important. I have to be connected to something or have my sight on something to be able to go through the hard times. So for someone that doesn't have faith, I feel bad for them. Looking back on my upbringing where there was no faith, it's sad. There's no sense of direction there. And then there's also no support when things were hard. So that's also why it's become really important for me, the sense of community, the sense of support through hard times, is because looking back at my childhood, I was so isolated and didn't have access to those things. So now that I do, I'm like, oh, this is what was missing.
I always think like, life is so hard. Right? Things happen. I always tell people like, hey, bad things happen to good people. They go, what do you mean? It's just life. It's not like it's not that life's unfair. It's just life. There's people who are good people and they get cancer and they don't beat it. There's bad people in the world that live till they're 80 and they don't die early. It's just life. It happens, accidents happen, things happen. And I think that faith and a God of someone's understanding, wherever they're at, right? Wherever they're at, I think that's so needed in so many situations, I think in lives that we have. So I love that. And, I know earlier we talked about like delusional faith, and it's like, I think delusional faith is a good thing because you need it, especially when your dream's really big and you're going after it. Like, what have you learned too? Cause I think sometimes people, and I love asking this question, let's say you teach people how to get their dream life, right? They do everything and then you get it. What have you learned that you have to do to sustain it though? Because one thing is getting there, but I always tell people sustaining it's a whole different formula because one, maybe you've never been there, right? So it's new territory, and it's a different type of approach, I think, to sustain it and to grow it from there. What have you learned that you have to do to be able to sustain a life like that you're going after when it comes to it could be from the people that you end up dating, the friendships, where you go, what you listen to, what have you learned that the things that you have to be mindful of?
So in order to sustain, what I found is if I find a way to be of service within that. So we'll break it down. To sustain my recovery, I have to be of service and I have to give it away, right? That means teaching others to do exactly what I've done. Then it provides more value and more fulfillment. It's not about, okay, now I'm sober for 7 years. It's now, how can I teach others to get to 7 years, right? It becomes a fulfillment piece. So being of service in that sense. Same with relationships. How can I continue to pour into it in an exciting way where it doesn't become boring and monotonous and just a routine, right? Actually growing and doing new experiences and going new places. It's keeping it fresh. It's keeping it new. And then within work, to sustain it, right? Like now that I've, hit a certain income goal, pushing that goal farther, and then also teaching people, okay, this is how you get to where I got. So it all comes back down to, I believe, teaching others, because that's what keeps it forefront of my mind. When I first got my first 6-pack, I had worked so hard, counting calories, doing macros. I studied nutrition, dietetics, exercising every single day, taking pictures, tracking my progress. And then once I got my 6-pack that I had worked so hard for, I was like, now I want a brownie. And then I hit that goal. But then I quickly, lost it because there was no, once I hit the goal, it was like, okay, I hit the goal. And so then I backed off all the things that I was doing to get to the goal in the first place. So, I had a little back and forth experience. And now I found a balance where, I can still enjoy the brownie, but I don't have to lose, the 6-pack. The 6-pack. Yeah. So, but what that area is, I haven't found a way to really be of service in the fitness area like I have been able to in these other senses. It's more of a personal. It's important to me personally.
Yeah, and I think there's a balance of like, because I had to learn that. That's why I had my mental breakdown. I thought everything I do has to be about helping people. If this is not going to help someone, then I shouldn't do it. I used to think that, or I'll throw that idea out the window because that's just for me. So how's that going to help? I do think there's that balance, right? Of like, sometimes it's just for me. Because, I DJ, I'm a street magician, I'm a videographer, I'm an editor, I travel, I'm a number 2 jump roper for all athletes in the world, I'm a YouTuber, I do all these things, right? I'm a podcast host, a speaker, and I used to think I have to make this something. But it's like, no, it's like I DJ because I want to DJ. I don't want to teach you how to DJ, I don't need to teach you the tricks how to DJ. If you come over, you ask me something, oh yeah, you just do this. But I don't need to make this something. Like, I like this for me.
That's motorcycles for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your pink motorcycle. Yeah.
Yeah, that's motorcycles for me. Like, I have a group of girls that I ride with, but, I'll just ride canyons on my own. It's that thing that I love so much that I don't need anyone's approval. It doesn't need to make sense. Yeah. And it's also where I can just unplug my brain.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that too. Like, I think as high performers, maybe all high performers have some type of addictive personality, probably, but whether they're addiction or not. Yeah, so I like that you're talking about that because I wanted to ask, like, how do you ground yourself? How do you reset yourself? How do you take care of yourself? Because as high performers, like you said, we're either on or off. And sometimes our blessing can become a curse. For me, I had to learn to slow down and relax. That was hard for me. It wasn't about doing more. It's about doing less. That is my challenge to take care of me, was to do that, figuring out what that looks like. So for you, what does that look like for you? I know you're talking about right now. So biking for you.
Yeah. I still don't slow down. I've gotten better.
Yeah.
But I still don't slow down. So on Sundays are the days where I don't work. Like, my work phone is actually away. I have a work phone that's I can actually put that away. I go to church in the morning. I ride my motorcycle. It's like my spiritual Sunday where I just kind of reset. Cool. Yeah. I'll play volleyball on the beach, be with friends. That's my grounding day, is Sundays. But for the rest of the week, I am on the go all the time. So as far as taking care of myself, again, it comes back to the daily routine, the little things that I do every day to take care of myself. So working out every morning, getting up at the same time every morning, meal prepping and cooking my own meals at home. So all of those things come into how I take care of myself so I can continue to perform at the level that I am.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever have trouble with like, because I know you've been self-motivated your whole life, so that was something that you had within you. Did you ever have trouble with having to know how, like what to say yes to and what to say no to?
Ooh, that's hard.
Because I always say this, there's good opportunities and there's great. If you say no to the good, you say yes to the great, right? And again, when you have, it's almost like I have nothing coming in my life. And then when you have, now I have too much coming into my life. Like, what do I say yes to? I love all these things, or that sounds great, that sounds great. How do you kind of work on that for you to know when this is a no and this is a yes, even when they're both amazing things?
That's a hard one. I struggle with that. Okay. If you look at my calendar, you might feel a little overwhelmed.
Is it color coded?
It is.
Yes, mine too.
It is. It's color coded. I mean, I'll show you after this, but it is pretty intense. And it's because I don't want to miss out on something that can be potentially an experience that adds value to my life or someone else's life. Or, I mean, I have a hard time saying no. What happens is usually I'll like get sick and I can't show up because I'll just keep going. I'll overcommit and then I'll run myself to the bone. But no, it's a really good point, right? Like I had to become clear on what my actual goals are and does this move me farther from my goal or closer to my goal? And so once I get clear on, again, where am I going? Because I'm not going to be doing anything if I have no goals. If I don't know where I'm going, there's no destination. How do I know how to set the GPS? I'll just keep going on the side roads, never making it because there's no actual destination. So again, getting really clear on where do I want to be 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And how do I want my life to look? And then what are the steps that I need to take to get there? Mapping it out, getting clear on that. So when an opportunity arises, it becomes easier to say, does this move me closer to my goal? Or is it just something that's going to be fun and fill my time? So that helps make the distinction. Like I was just in Mexico 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh, I could extend my stay another 2 days and just enjoy Mexico. But I'm like, it's not moving me closer to my goal. It's just wasting time in Mexico when I could be working. So I was already in Mexico. I don't have to stay in longer. So kind of making those adjustments and figuring out how can I still enjoy and have time to relax and recover and not be producing so aggressively, but also be really clear on the things that I do let into my life are in my life for a very specific purpose.
Yeah, I think that's so powerful what you said. There's so much intentionality that needs to be put into that, right? If you don't know what you want or where you're going, then you're just going to be going for a walk. Exactly. You know what I mean? You're not going anywhere. You're just going for a walk. But once you kind of know what you want and where you're going, like you said, okay, does this serve me or does this distract me? Is this me being busy or is this me being productive? There's that fine line to do. And I think a lot of people don't really understand that. And that's why they're not where they want to be. It's like, it has nothing to do with that God doesn't want it to happen. It's not even that you don't have the skills to do it. It's just that you don't know how to choose wisely certain decisions to get you there. You keep on getting distracted by whether it's your love life. You know, that's something I've learned. I go, there's a lot of successful people financially that are terrible in their love life. Like terrible. I tell people like, hey, just know you can have a lot of money and still be terrible in your love life. I see it all the time. And so, yeah, you got to kind of know where you're going for that stuff. Because I do the same thing. I'll be like, okay, I'm looking at my calendar. All right, what do you want? You want to hang out? Okay, this person's a talker. They talk so much. Every time we talk, they never listen to it. Is it really worth my time to go get lunch with them? No, I'll get on a phone call with them, and I'm going to give them 30 minutes of my time. That's just the reality. Or someone's like, hey, I have this opportunity. Would you want to come out to, let's just say Massachusetts and speak on addiction? Ooh, I've never been there. That sounds fascinating. Yeah, let's have a conversation about it. Okay, you're willing to fly me out there? Yeah. I'm like, I'll pay for my ticket as long as you guys get me out there. It's always kind of figuring out what's worth it and what's not worth it. So yeah, I love that you do that. And I love that you're honest where like it could be hard because it is hard.
And it's also hard too to put in boundaries in place where there's some people that are just toxic. I have a family member right now that's not doing so well. And I didn't know they weren't doing well actually until this last weekend. And kind of what you were talking about when there's no sense of direction. then everything becomes a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got to show up for this family member, and I don't know, like I hope that they find something
Yeah.
to change, because I can't give that to them. But it's sad to watch, someone cycle.
Yeah, it's not easy, especially when you, again, every relationship has a different emotional connection to us,
Yeah.
right? Moms, dads, brothers, sisters, cousins, friends, best friends, partners, whatever
Mm-hmm.
it is. And yeah, the hard truth is, right, it's like, hey, you can't control nobody.
Mm-hmm.
You can give them $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
You can give them an opportunity. You can buy them a house. You can give them everything.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't want it, then they don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I tell people, like, yeah, be hopeful for things, but also be an acceptance of things. Like I go, yeah, remember, just like recovery, I know they're going to get it. God told me. Okay, but also there's stories of people where they end up dying. So live in reality and take care of you while you're hopeful for whatever it is. Because it's just, we can't control nothing.
Yeah.
Anything, nothing. And when people can understand that, it's so healing, though. When you know, I don't got to worry about all this stuff. No, you have no control.
Yeah. And it's also, I have to be at a certain point where I'm willing to draw those boundaries, right? And protect my spirit and my time, where I don't commit to going out to lunch with this person because they're always complaining and they're not taking action. They're not changing their life. And
just talk about their problems. They never ask you how you're doing. You're just like.
Yeah. So it's really just protecting, like being really protective over my time and my spirit and my energy. And I want to be around people that match my energy, not who are trying to
energy
feed off of me.
Yeah, take from you. Yeah, that's why I always say, like, you want to surround yourself with givers.
Yeah.
We're giving to each other. I don't expect it, but you're just a giver, and that's how you are. So we give back, and it's. I always say it's like a fire pit, right? There's wood. When the wood goes out, what do? You throw in another log. You throw in some more of whatever the stuff is. I can't think of it to get the flame going. Fuel. I can't think. Right? Throw some more fuel. What is that? Those are people that are pumping us up. Yeah. But if you start throwing water on it, you're going to put out the fire, and negativity is the water.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's all that stuff. So yeah, it's so important. And yeah, especially like you said, I love that. Like saying no to you. I always tell people, saying no to something is saying yes to you.
Yes.
That's self-love. Self-respect is gained, I always say, on your ability to say no to things and keep your word. But once you start saying things and going back on your word, even if you don't say it out loud, but you think it, you went back on your word, your self-respect gets lower, a little bit lower.
Yeah. There also, though, I will say there's something to like changing my mind, right? I gave my word on something and then I grow, things change. Being able to honor my word, even though things have changed, that was a big lesson for me as well. Because just because I committed, maybe something's changed. And so having the voice to step up for myself and say, actually, this doesn't work for me anymore, but to be able to honor my word is another feature that goes a step farther.
I love that. So so basically what you're saying, that fine line is am I changing my mind out of fear? Am I changing my mind out of, like you just said, growth? I just don't want it no more. Because that happens as we're growing too. We're learning. You might say yes, and like, I actually don't want to do that. Oh, darn it.
Yeah.
And so, okay, then just mention it.
Yeah.
Just say it. Learn from it. Now you know. That's cool, though. The fact that you're able to still do it. Most people that have boundaries and self-respect are not going to take it personal. Right. Like, all right, cool. No worries.
Exactly.
Those who don't, though, will say, you don't care about me. You're selfish. Whatever. People's reactions towards us are a reflection of what's going on inside of them.
Exactly.
It's not personal. So I love 4 agreements. Don't take anything personal. Not some things. Anything. But what about this? No. Anything.
Exactly.
And it protects that peace.
It's not personal.
Yeah.
Especially being in sales.
I'm terrible. It's funny. People always think I'd be good at certain sales. I'm like, I actually am not. I can only I can only do things that I believe in, but also that I can just give away.
Yeah.
This is my flavor. Well, if I can give it away, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love that. So what we're going to do now towards the end of this podcast, we do these speed questions for people. And so my first speed question for you is, what are 3 books that you'd recommend to somebody that can completely change their life?
Definitely Miracle Morning, Pitch Anything, and God, I read so many books. Choose Your Enemies Wisely.
Oh, I like that one. And why is that? I like just that saying, choose your enemies wisely.
So there were a lot of people that, told me that I couldn't do it. There was a lot of that fear, that self-doubt. And so this book is really focused on choose your enemies wisely, because that will become the fuel that I need in order to overcome the adversity.
Oh, I like that. That's good.
Because I always want people to like me, you know?
Yeah, it does.
And so the thought of like having an enemy, but being able to utilize that in a sense where, no, I can actually take control of my own life and not let the doubt from other people affect me. So it's a really powerful book for me.
Oh, that is powerful. Yeah, because I think a lot of times I tell people, I call them ghost relationships. A ghost relationship is a person that is controlling your life that's not even around anymore. You know, and it's those beliefs, right? Our beliefs control how we feel, and our feelings control our actions, you know? So it's like, change the belief.
Yeah.
Is that your belief, or is that someone else's belief that they told you?
Right.
You know? What was one single mindset shift that completely changed your life?
That I can do it. The single mindset shift was that, yeah, I can do it. I can stay sober. I can be free. I can be happy. I can make it. I can make good money. I can live where I want. It was just the fact that I am worthy. I am deserving. I am capable. So it's not easy to get to that shift, but once it happened for me, it affected every area of my life.
I love that. And it's so powerful, right? I can do this versus I can't. I always tell people, we're so used to saying, but what happens if it doesn't work out? What happens if it does? Right?
Yeah.
What is the worst piece of advice someone's ever given you? I'm sure there could be a lot.
I love my mom. Bless her heart. Growing up, she told me, she's like, honey, you need to marry a rich doctor. No. Worst piece of advice.
Oh, that's so funny. It's so common that you hear that.
Like, I am not going to, no. I'm going to make it my own mom.
Mm-hmm. Is your partner right now, is he a normie?
No.
I'm in recovery?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have 7 years. He has 6 years.
Nice. And then for this question, we'll do two versions of it. So first version is, what would you want to say to the woman who's, okay, I work a 9 to 5 right now. I've always had a dream of being an entrepreneur. I just don't know. I don't know if I can do. I don't know if I got what it takes. I don't know what to do. I don't know. Like, what would you want to tell that woman?
Make a decision. Make a decision. Because without that decision, nothing will happen. And then starting with one action, right? For me, I started with reading books, going to these seminars. I started actually part-time learning about sales, and then it got to a certain point where this job was holding me back, and I had to quit. I don't necessarily recommend that, getting into a bunch of debt and having to sink or swim, but also at a certain point I had to, because I have to make it. But for someone who is in that point where, like, the loneliness, the depression, the anxiety, the fear, like, make a decision and ask for help. Because in my experience, people do want to help. And especially if they are in a position that you want to be in. So I found mentors and coaches that I idolized or that I looked up to. And so asking for help, making the decision, and then taking that first action and staying with it. That's the only way. Work really, really hard. Because the alternative is what you're currently living.
I love that. So powerful. And then what would you want to say to the person that first day, maybe in rehab, maybe they're high right now, maybe they're drunk right now, and they're just like, Melia, my addiction's worse than yours. You don't understand. Mine's different. There's no way. I've tried everything. I'm hopeless. I'm broken. I think I'm meant to just die an addict. What would you want to tell them?
God, I wish there was one thing I could say to take it away. My dad is, been an addict my whole life. And like, I wish I could just take it away. The pain, the suffering. But there's always hope. There's always hope. No one has to die like that. So for someone that's sitting in rehab or on drugs or drinking right now, like, it's possible. You can be free. It's your choice.
It's so true, right? He says, again, same thing like the other one, right? Just make a choice. Make a choice. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for driving out here in traffic from LA. For people that don't know, if you come from LA to OC, traffic exists all the time. And what part of LA are you from? The Valley?
Marina Del Rey.
Marina Del Rey. So yeah, she's deep in LA. And so I just thank you for making the drive, for coming out here, for, sharing your vulnerability and your story, sharing your wisdom, your insight, your knowledge, just your charisma, right? Because you can feel it, how passionate you are. And thank you for being another example that you can come from where you came from and completely just change your life in such a beautiful way. And so I just want to say thank you for being here. And where can people find you? Where can people find your job, or if they want to reach you and just talk to you?
I'm all over social media.
Yeah.
Just look up my name, Melia King. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I've got 3 different Instagrams. I have one for my motorcycle page, one for my company, and then one for me personally. So I am findable and reachable easily.
I love that. And you have such a cool name too for it, right?
I'm never going to change it.
Never do. So yeah, so thank you for being here. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.